on auto through Progressive.
What was that wind-like sound? Oh, right, the wind.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Make Las Vegas Golf Superstore the place to shop for dads and grads with their summer savings sale happening now. Go faster and farther with the new Callaway Epic Flash Driver with flash-based technology for more ball speed and distance. Get custom fit for free today. And measure your distance with Bushnell GPS and rangefinders and save up to $70. Choose from the Phantom, the Hybrid, or the Tour V4 Shift. Las Vegas Golf Superstore is your place to shop for the hottest golf gear this summer. Las Vegas Golf Superstore, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Listen to what Chris said about Andro 400.
I've lost almost 40 pounds in 10 weeks. My son was getting married, and when I went for the suit fitting, I was a size 48. And when I went back to do the final fitting, I was a 44. I have more energy, that's for sure. I probably lost 4 inches around my belly. I'm 57, and I'm back when I was in my 30s.
Here's what Dwayne said about Andro 400.
This product really works. I'm an old guy and I don't trust nobody. And I've tried all kinds of stuff. It's one of the few things I've ever bought that works. I couldn't believe it. I feel better. I have more energy. I walk 12 miles a day. I feel great. It's changed my life. It really has. It's really incredible.
Guys, if you'd like to lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great, try Andro 400, the safe, natural, and affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435. Andro400.com.
If you need service for your vehicle, there are only 2 places that make it extremely convenient for you. Visit Busy Boots Automotive at Durango and Flamingo or Zip Zap Auto at Durango and Cheyenne. They provide free diagnosis and free towing with repairs, plus free shuttle service, Wi-Fi, gourmet coffee, and much more. No appointment needed. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On your first visit, get 10% off up to $50. At your convenience, visit Busy Boots Automotive on Durango and Flamingo or Zip Zap Auto on Durango and Cheyenne.
More lawyer, less fee.
I'm attorney Paul Powell. If you've been hurt in a crash, let me get to work for you.
Call 728-5500 or go to paulpowell.com.
More lawyer, less fee.
Some restrictions apply.
Follow us on Twitter at the LV Sportsline and at ESPN Las Vegas.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
And don't forget, reservations definitely recommended if you want to go on Father's Day. It's going to be mobbed down there, so call now to make sure you don't get shut out. 702-792-9222, the number at Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. This is a Red Sox angle, and we don't know if it's going to win today or not, but it's one to keep on file, I guess.
Well, I mean, we used an anti-Boston angle that won last week.
All right.
So, just to be fair, how about this one? The Red Sox 24-0 as home favorites of minus 130 or higher, off a game as a favorite in which they left more than 15 batters left on base.
That's individual
yes.
Left on base, not the team LLB.
Correct.
Okay.
15 LLB. So they had a bunch of guys left on base yesterday. It says they're good in this role, 24-0 as home chalk of minus 130 or higher. So take the Red Sox tonight. That's the angle of the day.
Or you can take them live now because it's tied 2.
Oh, yes.
Tied 2-2.
Oh, yeah. Why is he giving us an angle for a game
in the fifth
started?
inning? Well, because it was listed as a night game and got moved to an afternoon game because of the Boston
Bruins. And I
Bruins.
keep forgetting, too, of course.
Yes. They moved it to an afternoon game. All right. Let's bring in Ian Cameron. The CFL is ready to kick off. The exhibition games are done. This is becoming a more popular betting enterprise on a yearly basis because the games are easier to see now, and it's pretty good quality football. Hi, Ian. How are you?
Dave and Teddy, it's been way too long. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing just fine. So, this being a short show, we're going to roll right through these. We got 9 teams in the CFL. So, let's do a little early buy and sell on each team. And Ian is an absolute expert when it comes to this Canadian Football League. He's as good as it gets.
Well, he's Canadian.
Well,
so he has to
I would. It doesn't matter. That doesn't enter into the picture because I'm sure there's plenty of Canadians who absolutely suck at trying to beat the CFL, but Ian does not fit into that category. So let's do a little buy and sell on each team. And we'll start with, let's start with Hamilton, a team that a lot of people like this year.
Yeah, they're a bye team for me, Dave. I mean, they're in a division that's been perennially weak in the CFL year after year. Anybody that's followed the league recently knows the East Division has just paled in comparison, top to bottom, in terms of quality teams compared to the West. I mean, you just look at last year. West Division, every team 500 or better. Only the East Division champ Ottawa had a better than 500 record last year. But Hamilton looks very good on paper. Jeremiah Masoli's ascended to probably the top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league behind Bo Levi Mitchell. It's been fantastic. The offensive line has improved. They really focused on that on the draft because they did give up a few too many sacks last year. The receiving core is good. Defensively, I think is where they made a big stride forward. This year. They got Jagarrett Davis from Calgary, who's a premier pass rusher. Him, Adrian Tracy, and Ted Laurent, a great D-line. The linebacking core's got experience and talent with Lawrence Tuggle and Rico Murray back on the team. And Delvin Breaux, who got a stint with the New Orleans Saints years ago in the NFL, back in the CFL now. He's an elite cornerback. If he can stay healthy, that secondary is going to be a lot better. They're the clear favorite to win the East. Should be a bet-on team.
Well, Ottawa won the East last year. What do you think about them this year, buy or sell?
They're a team, Teddy, that's going to have to go through some growing pains because they've lost a lot, especially on the offensive side of football. And you know, when you look at the NFL, for instance, when you see a team that's lost as much as Ottawa has in the offensive side going into the season, you're a little bit concerned. I mean, your starting quarterback, Trevor Harris, is gone. Your top wide receiver, Greg Ellingson, is gone. Deontay Spencer's gone. Your top running back's gone. Your starting left tackle on the O-line is gone. Oh, and your offensive coordinator, Jamie Elizondo, left the team 2 months before training camp. So it's a completely revamped Ottawa offense, and they're going to have to iron through that. They'll turn to Dominique Davis as their new starting quarterback this year. They're going to need the defense, I think, to pull them along early in the season. Their defense was pretty solid last year. I think up front the D-line's solid. The secondary could be quite good. This is going to be a team that I think is worth looking under the total early in the season from a totals perspective because there's just so many changes on offense. It's hard to see that side of the ball clicking early on for the Red Blacks, and I think they're going to take a step back overall.
And I have to ask, I know we're short on time, but what is a Red Black?
The Red Blacks are. I wish I could give you, Teddy, a good answer with that. It's questioned me a little bit too with what they came. It's a type of a lumberjack, and that's why they have the lumberjack. They have the 2 lumberjacks at the Ottawa home games, and that's sort of like stripes. Their mascot, but it's like the one part of the experience of being at an Ottawa home game. It has something to do with that, but it's a unique name for sure. When I first heard it, I'm like, Red Blacks? I wonder who came up with that. It was a confusing one, let's put it that way.
Every league has its dysfunctional organization, and in the CFL, that would be the Montreal Alouettes.
It would be. And you know what? I was going to say that the CFL's Cleveland Browns, but maybe the Browns might do something finally this season. The potential is there for them anyway. But, yeah, Montreal would be that team. No question about it in the CFL. In terms of doing everything wrong on the field and pretty much even worse off the field, that's the Alouettes. It starts with the GM, Kavis Reed, who's done just a dismal, pathetic job with this team. Pathetic in terms of building the roster, pathetic in terms of his hires as head coach. And what's even more mind-boggling is that just when you think Montreal couldn't get any worse or lower, they fired Mike Sherman, their head coach, 1 week before the regular season. And the reason he said he fired him, Kavis Reed, the GM, Mike Sherman didn't grasp the CFL game. Okay, why didn't you figure that out in December, 1 month after last season ended then? Why are you firing him now 1 week before the regular season starts?
Well, look at it this
way. It makes no sense
at
all. The timing is horrible.
There's some people who will say that he never grasped the NFL game, and look how long he lasted in Green Bay. So let's go to the let's go
or A&M for that matter.
Yeah, there you go. Toronto Argonauts, who you on the surface you would say, well, Toronto, they must be an extremely popular team. This is a team you can get good tickets for any game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you could walk in there because it's a Halloween party every time for every home game. Everybody comes dressed in a costume as empty seats. So it's very easy to get in there for tickets for an Argo game. And Argo's obviously a team that was the worst team in the league last year. Mark Trestman gets fired, believe it or not. Fired after last season when he won the Grey Cup 2 years ago. So you go from first to worst, and you get fired. Corey Chamberlain, new coach. James Franklin's going to get another chance at being the starting quarterback. He wasn't good last year. more INTs than touchdowns. They have a new offensive coordinator in Jacques Chapdelaine. They did sign Darrell Walker, good wide receiver, but there's some questions there. Defensively, Corey Chamberlain, that's where he's good. That's his background, defense. They're going to have to be better there. I think they will be, but I think they're still going to struggle. They were 0-9 straight up on the road last season. That's going to have to change. I'm going to have to see it before I believe it in terms of an improvement with this team.
So the West was clearly the better of the two divisions last year, and once again this year they're expected to be the better of the two. Buy or sell, Winnipeg?
Big buy. This is a team I think could win the Grey Cup this year, to be honest. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They've gotten better and better in each season under Mike O'Shea. Got to the West Final for the first time last year. Another step forward, but lost to Calgary. No shame. We know Stamps have dominated this league for years now. I think this could be that time for Winnipeg to maybe take that last step forward. They've got the quarterback and Matt Nichols, an offensive line that's very, very good. Stanley Bryant might be the best O-lineman in the CFL. Andrew Harris is the best running back in the CFL. Wide receiving depth is there maybe one little concern. And then on defense, what a defensive line they should have. Willie Jefferson, they signed him from Saskatchewan, an impact free agency signing for the Bombers. Adam Bighill, one of the best linebackers in the CFL. The secondary is good. Yeah, it's a really, really good football team.
Speaking with Ian Cameron, CFL Insider. You can follow him on Twitter at Bobano, Bobano. The BC Lions were a team that, I'll admit, of the 9 teams in the CFL, I probably was more baffled by them last season than any other team. Could never really get a grasp on them. What do I do with them this year? Buy or sell early?
I think sell early, but I think they'll be better later. That's the way I see it with BC. No team was busier in free agency than them. I mean, they completely changed this roster over, turned it over completely. Mike Riley, the big signing from Edmonton, spent most of his career there, Grey Cup champ there. He's the new quarterback. He's certainly a big upgrade from Jonathan Jennings. I mean, they just got sick and tired of seeing him in BC. But Riley struggled down the stretch. There's no question. He's 34 now, 18 INTs last year, career high for him. So he's got to improve, and he's got to step it up, and you just worry. Maybe they bought in on Mike Riley too late, but he's certainly still better than Jennings. The question's going to be on defense. The new head coach is Devon Claybrooks, years with Calgary as the DC there, architected a tremendous defense year in and year out with Calgary. He's the new head coach in BC, and that defense I think will be good in time, but they've got a ton of new starters, a ton of new faces. I don't think you can expect them to gel right away. I think early BC's a bet against, probably an over team as well, totals-wise. They'll get better, though, as the season progresses, though. I think they made a really good hire with Claybrooks. He'll be a good head coach there.
Continuing our Canadian Football League discussion with Ian Cameron, let's talk some Stampeders. What does Calgary look like in 2019?
And this has been your New England of the CFL for years, Calgary. They've been just the model franchise in the CFL, and they're still extremely talented this year, but they're going to have to overcome a lot more changes with the roster than they have in years past. That's been the one thing about Calgary over the years. Their continuity's been there. Not on defense. They lost so much on defense. Alex Singleton, premier linebacker. Jagarrett Davis, as I mentioned, now in Hamilton. Devon Claybrooks, the DC there, now in BC as the head coach. Brett Monson now is the DC. So it's just a completely revamped defense. New faces, new DC, new everything. And they're saying that they could be a problem early in the season, but their offense will still be good. They still have a good O-line. Don Jackson, a good running back, good group of receivers, and the best quarterback in the CFL in Bo Levi Mitchell, who was the most outstanding player in the league last year. So the offense will be still strong. The defense is a worry, and I think finally, for the first time in years, another team might finally beat them in terms of winning the West. Calgary's won the West 5 of the last 6 years. They're going to be in tough, I think, to duplicate it again.
Saskatchewan, a really strong defense last year, and it's going to be good again. But I saw this stat on this team, and this was kind of wild, where the average number of non-offensive points scored last year per game was like 1.8 per team. Saskatchewan was like over 5 non-offensive points per game last year. That screams regression to me. Does it to you as well? Are they a buy or a sell?
That's a great point, Dave. But at the same time, this Saskatchewan defense is loaded, and they have the type of players that can force turnovers in bunches. So I'm not sure that's the anomaly that some might think. Some might think they might be able to force a ton of turnovers and pick sixes and scoop and scores and things like that. Saskatchewan's got the defense to do it. This defense, to me, on paper, is the best defense in the CFL. They brought in Micah Johnson from Calgary. Charleston Hughes was already on this defense. They bring in Solomon Elamimian from BC. If he can stay healthy, he can still be a great linebacker. And the secondary is Nick Marshall and Ed Gainey, two of the best corners in it. This is a loaded defense. The problem for Saskatchewan, who have a new head coach in Craig Dickinson, who's the brother of Dave Dickinson, who's the head